all these new things that
Over,
we're busting
under
out
11.
this week, they decided that they were going to give us whiteboards, gentlemen.
Oh.
Go ahead, and we are going to get to something that we're going to
Ready.
call predictions. And so they've given us these. They're bigger than we are, so I kind of enjoy that from the beginning of it. But
speak for yourself, Jill.
The
This
very-
thing isn't bigger than me. Only bigger than you. Go ahead. That's a compliment.
Thank you.
Probably a diss
I'll
of
take
me,
that.
too.
So our first prediction or proclamation, if you will, Texas A&M or Texas, who is in the better position for the new SEC? Who's going to have it better in the new SEC, Texas or Texas A&M?
Are you starting, or do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Texas.
It's A&M.
I hope we can see these.
I don't know.
This is A&M.
A&M.
This is an A&M answer, but not by much. The real answer is who gets the next big time quarterback in recruiting first. That's the real answer to this question. But A&M has the leg up because they're already here, and the fact that Texas is sitting and waiting. You just heard Billy Lucci say it benefits Texas to sit and wait, to say, hey, we're going, come join us, instead of be in the SEC already. That's because A&M has a true benefit right now in recruiting.
I think it's all about familiarity with the conference already. A&M's been there and done that, and they've had some success in the SEC. I think they have a better coach. Look, I mean, Jimbo Fisher, it's been a bit of a struggle this year on offense for A&M, but guy's won a national title. He's got a track record. I like Steve Sarkisian, what he did, bouncing back from the USC tenure and being offensive coordinator at Bama. And I think Texas is pretty good this year, but I'm giving the coaching advantage. I'm giving the familiarity advantage to A&M right now until I can actually see it from Texas.
Why do you say Texas?
I say Texas because I look at, the new SEC. I'm thinking in the future when we get this all established and it's all settled, I think that Texas is going to come at it from a better angle of just the recruiting and Texas being like the largest athletic department in Texas football. And to get that brand into the SEC, I think they're going to have a definite juice in recruiting, like everybody has been mentioning. I see that move, and when it was announced, I was like, they're just going to crush it. And I know that everybody keeps saying, oh, Texas is back, and like that's the saying, and we've been fighting that for years. There's something in me though that just says this is going to be the move that we've all been waiting for, and maybe it is just like that eternal Texas is back feeling, but I think that the move to the SEC is going to be that catalyst that they've been looking for.
Coca-Cola one time thought they had this great idea of new Coke, and they decided to have new Coke, and it completely backfired, and it didn't work. I'm not saying that Texas, the SEC, is going to backfire, but I think initially it will. I think they're going to come to the SEC and play this schedule, and they're going to get their ass kicked for a year or two.
Well,
and then it's going to balance itself out because you're right, they have the resources, they're Texas, and they're going to make it happen eventually, but it's not going to be a quick transition for the Longhorns.
Hey, elite quarterback, but also they need some knockback at the line of scrimmage.
They do.
Both of them
They do.
in the trenches to compete against Georgia and Alabama. Until those two programs take a step back, the answer.
Didn't we see our boy Arch Manning looking at Texas lately though, and they're on the radar.
He's messing with Texas.
He is messing with Texas.
Arch is messing with Texas.
When we look at Georgia, we've been talking about their defense. Next question. How many points will the Georgia defense allow in a game this season? So in a game.
The most points they'll allow in a game.
Defensive points.
Points.
Yeah, I've got you.
I'll show mine.
All right.
And I'll tell you when it's going to happen. It's going to happen when they lose 28-24 to Alabama in the SEC championship.
I don't like that
game.
I knew yours already before I wrote mine. I
look,
feel swayed now.
I don't think that anyone can completely stop an offense like Bama's and the great offenses in college football, even the great Georgia defense. 28 points is stopping the Bama defense, right, or the Bama offense in a lot of ways. I think that's the first game where they're truly challenged.
I put up 20.
21.
I put up 20. I'm right there with Jill. I think
go.
it's a couple touchdowns, and that's it. And maybe that's just simply based on the opponent's defense setting up the offense with great scoring field position on a couple of these possessions.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be Bama that puts up the points.
Yeah.
But
You don't have that 20 being scored today by Auburn?
I do not have that 20. I mean, Bo Nix, great weekend last weekend, and we saw, vintage Bo Nix scrambling, making us all excited to watch Auburn football again. But no, I don't think that's going to happen today. Next question. I like this one. Coaching love affair. Your ride or die.
I don't even need to write this down.
Oh.
Defend to the death.
No Huttons.
Coach.
Man,
this is part of the game is you write it down.
I'm doing it for the game's sake.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to say it, and it's going to kill me to write it out.
Shiano?
Urban?
Hutton, you nailed it.
Urban?
Urban's grinding ability.
I'll go first because mine's obvious. I ride or die with the Lane train. Lane Kiffin.
Lane fans.
For me, he can go for fourth down every single time and be, just stupid in doing so last week. I love the guy. I love the fact that he brings some fire and energy to any program. It doesn't matter if it's USC or leaving Tennessee in the middle of the night or Florida Atlantic to rehab the coaching career. Lane Kiffin gets it done for me. Ride or die.
I'm going to go with this guy right here. Avert your eyes. It's in red. Can't really
Nick
see it
Saban.
easily, but
Taking that red one away from you.
It's Nick Saban, and I hated Nick Saban for years and years and years. And then the Tom Brady effect washed over me. And I can't say a negative thing about the guy anymore. And I will defend his ability to lead any organization to anyone. I've learned to just accept the guy's greatness and to love him for it. So, I mean, that is the guy in college football, maybe of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm going with Nick Saban. And it pains me to write that.
Kirk.
The obvious one for Jill.
Listen.
If not Kirk, who would you have?
No, but this is different because there have been many years where Iowa fans have been annoyed with Kirk, like the middle 2000s. We were done. It was like, you know what? We've been doing this deal since 1999. Maybe let's try something else and see if we can get a little bit better. But Kirk, I just feel like he's that family member, right? Like, it's the blood. Like, you love him, but you hate him at the same time for different reasons, different seasons. So for the ride or die aspect, I have to go with Kirk because it's not all just one side. It's not just a pure love affair. It's you take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like that. He's part of the family now. Kirk Ferentz.
He's also ride or die for Iowa, which helps, right? You're ride or die for him, and Iowa fans should be, but it's not like the guy's been flirting with a lot of jobs, right? I feel like he was mentioned for a while for NFL jobs.
Yeah.
And he's been at Iowa for a long time. Very solid tenure for Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
All right. In our next question, in the Second Life, the program that you wish you were a fan of. Who's that team that you wish was your own?
Dad's considering the Commodores.
Not the Commodores.
He's thinking about it.
All right, I'm going to go with this one.
Thinking about it.
That's a great question.
All right, you want to go first,
Yeah,
Chad?
I'll go.
All right. He wrote it in black so people can see it today.
The Wisconsin Badgers is my pick. For this reason, Wisconsin has such a clear identity. I love programs that you know exactly what you're going to get. There's such a consistency. I know they're down this year. I've never been to Madison, but I feel like I romanticize Madison, Wisconsin as this great college town.
It is.
That's an actual city.
You're not wrong.
People like to drink there also is what I hear. I think Wisconsin, because of the consistency and knowing most years you're going to get 8 to 10 wins and you're going to run all over people and you're going to play solid defense and you're going to have really good running backs, give me the Badgers as my side program.
All right.
Yeah, Jill, please go before me because I want to explain
We
mine
want
with
Bama.
yours.
I mean, everybody says it. Everybody says it. Everybody wants a piece of them. If you can't beat them, join them. Alabama, to have Nick Saban, the love affair that you have with Nick Saban, I want that. I want to know what that feels like to win a national championship and just expect, like we said last week, when we walked into that game, the atmosphere wasn't electric walking into the stadium because they all knew they were going to beat down Ole Miss.
They knew it.
I want that feeling.
The feeling of destruction. But I also want my answer is the opposite of Bama, because I don't want it easy in my fandom. I want to feel the emotional struggle.
I mean, to each his own.
Alabama has no emotional struggle week to week. They know exactly the result.
I was going to go with UConn. UConn is the exact opposite of Bama, the worst team in college.
Tigers, because it's not a given year to year. You've got to go earn it, and you have to beat the best in your rivalry game. I don't want it easy in the fandom. When we win, I want it to mean something to me.
I want to feel good about it.
Yeah, I don't need to make space on my wall. I want it to be the forefront and the feature of the room.
Well, we've been doing our picks over here, and we've been having some fun, but Paxton also has a pick of her own. So Paxton, Elrod, show us what you got.
So I want to know what you guys think, over or under this. It's a pretty bold statement, but I feel pretty confident about it, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Chad will act out the Texas A&M yell leader's arm motions minimum of 75 times over the next 12 hours. He's already pushing 40, but I really think that we could get over 75.
Well, Paxton, that's outstanding. You absolutely take the over on that. The yell leader motion is the bam.
Well,
you got to go in with that.
Hang on, though. But the key with the motion is they put the right leg behind the knee of the left leg.
It's like all about
it's
this. Like,
more than just the arm.
Kind of just that.
But the key is the leg. We can't see Paxton do the leg motion there. But
we got it. It's like
that's what we need Chad doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
we need you to perfect that by the end of the day.
I don't know that my body type is built for that type of motion, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm both limber enough and of the right stature to perform that back leg kick that way, the way Paxton did.
Yeah.
Paxton, much better body type to perform the back leg kick than me, just from a shape standpoint.
Listen,
so I'm going to refrain from that.
Withrow gets kicked out of establishments.
We're going to be here all day and night. And anytime I'm making a point or a punchline happens, we're going to give it the old one of these. And then we're going to go down and we're not going to kick a field goal. We're going to score a touchdown. And then after that, we're going to get a defensive stop. And that's how we're going to do it.
Chad, I'm really surprised that you haven't told the story about the funny story about the death of an Alabama player that they told last night during Midnight Yell. That was an interesting talking point.
They love death jokes, those A&M, those
Apparently.
yell leaders. It was any punchline that starts with, this old Alabama fan died. And then the really gets the crowd worked up. They were all laughing about that. I loved it.
I'm just going to ask, Chad, that you do not limit yourself.
Please don't.
Don't do it. Don't say you can't do that.
The sky is the limit, man.
The
sky is the limit.
The people are going to want to see Chad doing the full A&M.
If he does it too much, he's going to break a sweat, and then that's another problem.
We've already memed Clay today. We got to meme Chad by the end of the day. We've already memed Clay with spilling a drink, so we just got to keep it going.
Paxton, you got it. Thanks so much.
What Jill is saying is you want me to mess with Texas.
I do want you to mess with Texas. I've been waiting for however many hours for you to mess with Texas. You brought it on the show on the show on Friday, OutKick 360. We're waiting.
We'll mess with Texas.
All right.
We're going to do it.
So he says, we'll be back with more OutKick the Tailgate. Picks against the spread coming up.